Hello, everybody. We are coming back for another Coffee Chats episode. This week, we are joined by Amanda Lee Sparks, and we're going to be talking all about limiting beliefs and what is holding you back from living abundantly. So I am Hannah Morth.
And I'm Elizabeth Modene.
And we are just going to jump right into it. So hello, Amanda Lee. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my most favorite topics to talk about.
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn about it. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about yourself? I know we've worked with you a couple of times before, but we have a lot of new faces to our channels. And so tell everybody a little bit about you.
Awesome.
And your kitty cat.
The corner's cat.
Yeah. Yes, that's Lucy. She's the fluffy one. So I'm Amanda Lee Sparks. I'm an energy alignment and mindset coach. At the core of it, I'm an intuitive energy healer. So I come at everything from the energy perspective first and then move in to the physical part. And I used to develop and teach intuition stuff for people, and that was my passion for a long time. And then over the last kind of 3 years, this mindset stuff came to my attention, mostly because my business wasn't working. When I would see clients, they would get results, but the seeing of the clients was few and far between, and it just was not sustainable. And a lot of that was because of my mindset, which is really, when you break it down, mindset is just the thoughts we think and the beliefs we hold. And here's the big shock moment: is a belief is just a thought we keep thinking.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. So when
Perspective.
When I heard that, I was like, it just blew my mind, because I thought a belief was this big set in stone thing that you'd have to spend years breaking down. I'm like, nope, apparently it's just a habit of thought.
Oh,
and
interesting.
you can change a habit in 30 days or a boat. Sometimes it takes a little more. I mean, we've all changed a habit, right? And sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you need a little more persistence and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So this has become my big focus in my business, because I've discovered it's my new passion of, I love to help people kind of like us, heart-centered people, coaches, healers, and whatnot, get their gifts out to the world and then get paid for them. That is the coolest thing. I see so many people who have amazing talents and are so good at what they do, they're just not making enough money. So then they have to go back to work or get a part-time job or something, right? So they're not getting their stuff out there to help the people. So that's become my big focus and passion, because I love it so much. And my kind of tagline has become more money with more ease.
I love that. And you've taken something that was a challenge for you and you've literally turned it into a superpower, which is something that Hannah and I talk about on this platform all of the time, because that's something that I see and that we see so often with healers and people that really chose to incarnate onto this earth, with a mission in mind, especially one of spreading light and spreading good, is that we use our pain points as ways to really pivot into sometimes our careers. And frankly, you realize that it becomes a superpower because you know the depth of that pain point, and so you can really help people transform their lives. So I love that you've taken this and made it into a career, because it's something that is like a superpower for you.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, for those of us who go through that process like you've mentioned, we tend to go through so much of it because we need to become the expert, right? And then we end up also in a little bit of this, what's it called? Imposter syndrome feeling, because you're like, I'm not where I want to be, so can I really help people with this? But then you happen to have a client show up and they need help with this and they get instant results. So you're like, yes, I can help people with this, even though I'm not yet where I want to be, because my journey is still a journey. It's not really a destination, right?
Yeah.
I think that's such an important thing, because there's so many people, it's hard to know you're an expert until you start to get some feedback from other people. They're like, wow, you know a lot about this. That's just so happening for me again with my knowledge around online business and marketing and packaging things up. Because it was about 5 years ago where I realized, sorry, I have a little bit of morning throat there.
Oh, you're fine, no worries.
So I realized, oh my God, my day job sucks. I want to do this energy healing thing for my living.
Mhm.
And I knew nothing about business or how to do it because I was a shy little introvert, right? And until, sorry, one sec, give me some water.
Say, Mandalee just woke up. You guys, it's earlier there than it is here.
Time zone, so early. Oh my gosh. So until like online business really became a thing, I'd never even considered being in business because to me that was like a huge like, oh my God, I don't think I can even. But it's an amazing how the technology has changed and the ability to connect with people not in your city. Like it's such a cool thing. So that's when I decided I need to learn about this. So I spent kind of 5 years taking courses and reading books and doing things. And now it's just in the last like 2 months or so, all these people are suddenly telling me like, wow, you know so much about this. And it's fitting in so lovely with what I want to help people with, right? So now I have knowledge of how to help people from the physical perspective of here's how you package and here's how you kind of find your price and here's what you do. You find this marketing channel that works well for you. That you enjoy.
I love that perspective because you literally had to like go through the rigmarole of really honing in on your craft. And I feel like that's something that's sometimes difficult for us to do is like really understand that like this needs to be something that we're like not crafting in the background, but that isn't necessarily up here for everybody to see. And that we're really just taking the time to perfect. And then when you start getting that confirmation, it's like, fuck yes. Like I'm finally, you know,
So
like
exciting, yeah.
I'm doing it right. Like it's hitting home. Like I'm like, because you get like this surge of excitement because you know it's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, that's
like
totally
this,
how you know. It's that surge of excitement. You're like, this is so much fun and I love it, right? Like,
yes, it's the best confirmation. So I love this for you. And I love that this is something that you're kind of fresh into and that Hannah and I get to kind of celebrate this with you, Amanda Lee, because we've known you for a while and this is new. So congratulations. It's exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. And it really took for me to, it was in like January, February of this year when I got back into my business after some time away to reflect, that I was like, all right, I'm just going to choose, I'm going to focus on the money stuff because it was all like, oh, but I'm known as this intuition person, right? And the whole mindset of that and screwing around with you for a while where you're like, but I've known for this, but that's not my super passion anymore. This is the super passion part. So when I did choose it and I changed my Facebook group name, I internally felt this whole like immediate shift in my business. And it was like, wow, that's so cool. And things just started to work. And once I'd made the choice, the really funny thing is, suddenly now there was space for both intuition and money stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because part of what I also do, because I still love to help people open their intuition and connect with their team of guides. So once I chose the money stuff, I had a whole kind of new team of guides step closer to my attention. And they're my business team. So they help me with lining up with marketing that I'm lined up with. And so I sit every week and on Sunday, usually, because that's my day of the afternoon, I like sit in my chair with my blanket and I get my notebook and I talk with my business guys about the marketing for the next week and sometimes the next month and sometimes the quarter, right? So that's something else I also like to help people with. So I'm still in this to helping them develop your connection to your guidance. And because that's when you know, it's like having a huge team of coaches working for you. Yes. I still have a physical coach as well, but it's like that knowledge that you're not alone and you have all this help who's there. You just have to sit and tune into it and you can get more help.
And they're omniscient, like they're all knowing. And so they can give you guidance that you just know is the right course for you to take.
Yes. The trick then is to actually do the steps. That's where I'm still getting a little, because they're like, yes, got stuff. And then you get to the end of the week, you're like, wait, I only did one of those 3 things I was like meant to do and I didn't. Oh, well, totally. It's all a process.
Oh my God. And I say this to clients all the time. Like when I'm talking about like my own process with my intuition, I talk to my spirit guides like you do, where they are like just an extension of me. We're talking all the time. And they will straight up tell me like, hey, Beth, like, pay attention to this, or like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, oh, but I'm going to. Like, it's so dumb. And I know this because it's like, why am I arguing with you? But at the same time, because we're human, like, that's why, like, straight up, because we're goofy little, you know, even though we know that we don't know, we still like to pretend like we know.
Got to use your free will.
Yes.
That's
Well,
so
that's the whole
right.
thing, is we've got the free will, right? And they're also in a energy vibration that is pure high vibe. So they're not judging, and they're not telling you really like, oh, you shouldn't do that because right. They're just like, hey, we know where you want to go. We know how to get you there. So we're gonna just keep feeding you the steps, and we don't care if you get there or not, because we're just gonna love you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Me too. It's just so great. And to be able to like, I waffled around in my business so long, but part of it was my own mindset was just so bad. I always had these thoughts in my head of like, oh, I suck, and oh, I'm failing at this, and oh, I'm not doing enough. That is one of the biggest 3 things. I've been helping people with the limiting beliefs thing without telling people that's what I do for a couple of years now. So I've seen a lot of limiting beliefs, and there are 3 big ones that I can share that I found on a lot of people. So there's, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, or I'm not enough. And sometimes you have all 3 or variations thereof. So if you are doing the strategy thing and you're not really receiving back the money, check if you've got these. So an easy way to do that is to say it and say, I am deserving, and see how you, because if that is a universal truth, we are at the core worthy, deserving, and enough. But we've created these thoughts, these beliefs, these mind programs that tell us we're not. So if you say it out loud, sometimes you'll get some really intense, conflicting, weird feelings, and that'll tell you, yeah, you do not believe that.
Well, and that's actually, it's crazy that you're talking about this, because on our weekly Ascension Energy updates last week, the spirit guides brought forward the power of the voice. And literally, with Mars retrograde happening right now, our friends, you talk about a time to really use that voice and use the power behind what you're saying. It's right now. And spirit brought forward how powerful it is to literally speak out your truths. Like, if you're afraid of something, literally talk it out with yourself and notice what comes up and the different emotions that surface, because there is such power behind what you said, like really checking in with how you actually feel, because you can't hide it in the voice, especially not from yourself, because you freaking know what you sound like when you're insecure. We all know what it's like to be like the kid standing in front of the classroom, like shaking, you know, and terrified, at least if you did like the schooling experience with other kiddos. But it kind of is resonant with that, where like you can tell when you're afraid. And so you will totally catch your own tripping points, and then you can address them. So it's like a super good thing. But like you said, if you don't actually like, oh, let's do some self-analysis and really like take control of the situation, you're never going to get there. And it's just going to kind of hamster wheel its way along and drive you crazy.
Yeah, I spent years and thousands of dollars that I'm still like kind of carrying, because in my head, I wish I had gotten a part-time job sooner, but in my head, a part-time job meant I'd failed at my business, and I didn't want to fail at my business. And really, it doesn't mean that. It just means I'm doing what it takes to keep going. Because if you are in a super, super stressed state and you're like, where's my money coming from? And this is the state you're putting out your marketing from, people pick that up, especially in the digital world, on the online world, because vibes just translate so quickly. Like it imprints, and then you put out your marketing post and it has this ick factor on it, and people, they might not be super aware consciously that's what's happening, but they read it and they go, ugh, I don't want that, even if the words are good, right? So marketing from desperation it rarely works at all. But marketing from a neutral or a high vibe place of, this is who I am, this is the problem I solve, you have this problem, I've got the solution. People are drawn into that. It's like, oh my God, yes, please take my money. I need this solution. Give it to me now.
I love that perspective. I'm going through
the
that
intention.
right now. Yeah. Like I'm literally like in the middle of like pivoting and really like positioning myself as a teacher. And so like I'm like learning from you right now. This is why I love coffee chats, because I like get to like learn from all of these bomb ass coaches and like people that have like gone through it, because you've been through it. So you know what it's like to really like experience kind of the not only the overwhelm, but the like, can I really do this? You know? And it can be a lot. In 2020, my friends, this is like the year of the tower / like pivoting off of the ledge.
Yeah.
Like it kind of feels like that, you know, like you're like, oh, this shit's falling down, so I'm gonna run like hell and jump and really trust that I know what I'm doing and feel into this intuition because it's leading me somewhere. That's what so many of us are doing. And so this is a discussion that totally needs to happen, because it's a factor of addressing limiting beliefs.
Definitely.
And really seeing what's holding you back.
Yeah. Because there's this whole school of thought that comes from, I don't know if you know about Napoleon Hill and his book. He has a lot of books, but the big one is Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
No.
So he wrote this book in like the 1930s. I did a whole book study on it, or I wouldn't have gotten through it. Because it's like 100 years old, it's a very dated book.
Yeah.
But the essence of the information there is really good. And yet there's parts of it where he's like, burn the ships, which means it's like a saying coming from the Greeks and the Trojans. So when the Greeks went to attack the Trojans, they were a little overnumbered, and the general guy whose name escapes me at the moment burned the ship. So they had no choice but to fight this battle.
Oh, damn.
So a lot of people go with this mindset, burn the ships. So like jump from your day job, like, right? And that's exactly what I did. And it didn't work for me.
Yes.
It's like, you know, you've heard this leap and you'll be caught. And they're like, yes, to a point. But if you don't let yourself be caught because of your own mind garbage, then you're still going to fall cartoon style and smash onto the ground. You'll pick yourself up, but you won't fly like you've been expecting, because your own mind won't let you. You can't out manifest a limiting belief. This is the other key thing here. So it's like a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. You can't out manifest a belief. You've got to change that belief to allow the manifestation in.
That's also a really
That's
awesome
so interesting. Yeah. I'm like thinking about that in my own life.
Yes.
When I've done that.
Well, and like so many of us like straight up have to fall on our asses. Like
sometimes,
you know, and I feel like that's part of the human process. And like it's knowing, you know, it's not even knowing. It's like, how the hell do you know? And sometimes you just gotta run. And like, I'm not saying run and quit your job. I'm saying like, life is such a process of just moving forward off of the seat of your intuition and doing like the best that you can.
Yep.
But combining it with the addressing of the individual at the same time is really how I feel like you make the progress forward. It's kind of like this like Maji Podge, you know, of like really figuring out, I'm like figuring out how to be a human this year. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I feel like I'm doing the most like emotional analysis that I've ever done. And it's so much about that. It's like moving forward, knowing that there's no such thing as control, other than keeping yourself, you know, secure in ways that are going to keep you safe, like monetarily, you know, and having the right balance. Because like you said, so many people like run and they jump off the cliff and then they're like, oh shit, I'm not going to make $2,000 months instantly. Because so many of us were taught that, you know, that it's like, oh, it's going to be fine.
And I mean, and from a broader perspective, it is fine. The journey I've been through, well, it was hard. It was of my own making. And it's brought me to this place where I now have this whole new passion that's helping a lot of people. And not everybody is like me from the standpoint of you've got to go through some serious shit to do this stuff. Like I have someone who was in a first round of one of my courses earlier this, like March this year. And she's one of these people who had didn't really know what she was getting into with me. She wasn't into energy healing, never really thought about that stuff. She just saw my, change your top 3 limiting money beliefs. Yes, I want to do that. And so she got in, and I include a big group energy healing in this course. And she's like thrown in the deep end of the pool. And then her life completely changed. She's one of these amazing success stories of suddenly she makes jewelry and sells it on Etsy, and then she does some Pinterest things. So she's suddenly like, she stepped into this Pinterest thing. She's built a Facebook group. She's getting clients, and she's like, maybe I want to like make this my living instead of my 9-to-5 job I'm doing. But it's like she took, what's that, March, April, May, June, July, August, like 6 months ish to kind of completely change her stuff and line up with what she really wants. And I look at this stuff, I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, why is my path not that easy?
Hannah and I talk about that all the time, with how interesting it is to like look at the, like, not that we can even freaking compare, because we can't.
Right.
No,
but it is like that, where like you'll look around and you'll be like, gosh, it's so interesting to see how some people just have that trajectory where like it's like beep, boop, 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 and it's just like, you know, and then like sometimes I feel like I have to kind of topple off the cliff, like, and smack a few rocks as I'm falling down to really like get it through my head. But that's also like, that's just the way we learn, dude. Like, that's just our learning style. And like, while we're kind of like, God, it sucks sometimes because it's challenging as hell.
Yes.
It's also like, I think about our examples, you know, and how people can now turn around and they can look at like somebody that they may be learning from and be able to say, oh, she went through the same shit that I'm going through right now. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
She made it through. I can make it through.
Yes. Which is so important.
Definitely. And I have a big example here in my life of how a limiting belief was really affecting me in my life and my business. I decided 2020, before everything happened, it's like at the beginning of the year, all right, this is the year I finally get a hold of this like money manifestation and be a conscious manifester. And that was my like driving intention for the year. And now that we're like 3/4 done, it's really cool what's changed in my life. So that's the 2 courses I've developed, plus now this new coaching thing I've got. Really, we're focused on that. I'm like, I'm doing this, and I'm taking whoever wants to come with me along for the ride.
Yeah.
So, because I've, over my kind of 5 years-ish in business, I've developed courses, and I would run them once. I'd launch them and run them once. I had this weird belief that it was something to the effect of, I can only sell it once. I have to do it once and then move to the next thing. Can't go back to it. And this doesn't make business sense, right? Like, it takes a lot of energy and time and creativity to create a course and put it out there and launch it.
Yeah.
And then if you have a launch that's not huge, like you get like 3 people in your class, you're like, wow, I sold 3 spots. I wanted 15, but I sold 3, right? And then I wasn't relaunching it. And the times I tried to, I have this intuition course I've taught in person like 7 years ago. I went to put it online, and I like made the thing, and I made the slides, and I did the stuff. And then I sat to record it and came down with the worst cold I'd ever, like, couldn't talk for like 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had this limiting belief that said I couldn't do it again. And so my body's like, no, we can't do this, and made me really, really ill, like last year, November. I was like, what the hell? All right, I guess I'm not meant to do this. Right?
Yeah.
Bit of a victim mode thing there. And then I imprinted a belief in me in like March this year when I ran my first round of the limiting beliefs course. And I imprinted this belief that said, it's safe and prosperous for me to offer things to my audience more than once. And it took about 30 days. I imprinted that one. And as I mentioned, I developed 2 courses this year. One's called Money Story, and one is Change My Top 3 Limiting Beliefs Around Money. I've run both of them 3 times.
That's awesome.
I've offered more courses this year than in the entire run of my business.
That's badass, Amanda Lee.
I love that.
Yay!
And
how's it going?
It's going all right. I mean, I don't have huge launches. I neglected my audience for a while. I'm still building and I'm still creating things, and like my poor email list is so small, and I didn't email them for almost the whole of like 2019.
That's okay.
Right? So you gotta, it's business. This is the ups and downs of an entrepreneur, right? It's not like a trajectory like this. It's a very up, down, up, down, up, down. As you fumble around and you learn like, oh, I really don't like doing like these like really long discovery call things. So that's not a good marketing avenue or whatever it is for you, right?
Mm-hmm. That's so true. It's
The
like
evolution.
an evolution.
Yes, but we so often buy into these coaches and things with these amazing posts that are like, I've made this much money. I'll show you how. And then they're like, use my system. And for a lot of us, we can't use that system. I'm prime example. The other awesome story I have is in August, so just a few weeks ago, I was like, all right, okay, I'm getting a handle on this. I'm ready to build my audience, because I had some fears around building a bigger audience and like people, the control and things going bad and all this like weird shit there. So I cleared a lot of that out. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to reach more people with my stuff. I've done a lot of rounds. People who are doing the work are getting results. Mm-hmm. And I hit it, and as the universe does, it brings stuff to you when you decide on things, right? So this awesome woman with this great course of, hey, I'm going to teach you how to monetize your Facebook, grow it huge, and monetize your Facebook group. I'm like, yes, please. That's what I want.
Yes.
And, I did the whole like connecting with her. We got on a call, suss each other out and stuff. I'm like, this is cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm really into it. And yet something was a little bit off. And it took a call with my friend and me telling her all about it. We were trying to go for coffee, but that's not really a super big option these days.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think that's right for you. I'm like, what? No, that's totally what I've been asking for, right? And so then it took me sitting down with my business guides, and I'm like, all right, so tell me about this. Because when you're asking questions of guides, you don't want to be like, should I do this or this? Because that's kind of giving your power away. So the questions you ask, it's really important of how you ask them. So I was like, tell me about this course with this woman. And they're like, it's not the right fit. I'm like, what do you mean it's not the right fit? So we had like a back and forth, not an argument, but tell me, I want to know, what is it? What is it? And what it turned out to be was I still had a thing like a belief or a thought pattern in me that was about how it was still a little bit unsafe to grow big. That was too big, too fast for me. And that I wouldn't get the essence of it was her program wouldn't work for me because I wouldn't let it. And I've spent so much money on programs that have done that over the last bunch of years. And it's not the program's fault. It's my internal stuff wasn't changing, wouldn't let that work.
Yes.
And once you get a couple examples of this, you're like, I bought this thing and she had said you get these results and I didn't. You can create a belief from that says, oh, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So it's really important to watch for those kinds of things.
This has been such an awesome discussion.
I love it. I love the awareness of everything. Like that's so important. And it's something I talk about a lot, is just like being aware of what you're going through and what's happening in your life and what you're feeling. And that's like the beginning of it all. I love it.
Yep.
Sure. Well, Amanda Lee, it would be absolutely fabulous if you could tell our audience a little bit more about how they can get in touch with you. And also if you have any super cool promotions or anything like that going on.
I have one more story if you want it though.
Oh, please go for it.
Yeah, I love it.
It was just like 2 weeks ago because suddenly I'm focused in on passive income and the energy clearing I did in the latest round of the top 3 limiting beliefs. We ended up focusing a lot on passive income because it seems like in our heads, active income and passive income, we feel really differently about them. For the most part. So active income is more like I'm trading my time for money. I'm actively seeing things. So that's mostly what that is. And passive income is where you create a thing and you sell it multiple times. That's kind of the definitions we're working with here. And before I had my website redid, I had a lot of product because I was like, I want passive income. So I made a lot of really cool products. I took these paintings, I made them print on demand. I imprinted them with specific like frequencies so that when you looked at that, you got this thing and it would come out in the printed object. I'm like, so cool. It's like a visual mantra.
That is
I love
badass.
that. Yeah.
Put it all up on my website and things. And I even found a printer that's prints of the United States. I'm like, yes, so great. Because shipping and border crossing is Oh, so expensive.
Oh, duh, because you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I always forget that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And never sold a single one. Even created my own other products on my website. Didn't sell one. And the one I actually did sell once, I got a refund request for.
Shit.
I was like, that's so weird, so weird. And then like 2 weeks ago, I'm feeling some, energy shifting. What's happening in the world? So much crap coming up to be released. Lucy, please sit down. Don't knock around my legs. Thank you. Yes. And I'm just kind of looking at my patterns. I'm doing the process I do on my clients, on myself. And it turns out I had a belief. Well, it was more of a pattern. Wasn't even mine. Came down my paternal line from my dad's family because they were salt of the earth, hard worker, coal miner type people, I think, as you go back there. And it was around like I couldn't sell something more than once to somebody. It wasn't even mine. And then I looked, and then you discover this knowledge and you look back, you're like, oh, that's why this didn't sell. And that's why this didn't sell. And that's why when that one sold, I got a refund request for it.
Yeah.
Because internally, I couldn't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing how much we are in our own ways.
Yes.
And
But
it's
that like one, oh, I'm sorry, Amanda.
So no, keep going. No, go.
But that once we realize that we can literally take it out of our path.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it is incredible because it's like, so, and Hannah, we've been talking about this, like the past life readings. Hannah and I have been talking a lot about past lives. And it can literally come from something that you're not even conscious of, which is why, like, having people like Amanda Lee, it's really badass having somebody that actually knows the ropes, because until you go through something like that, or until you have a teacher that can actually like explain it in a way that makes sense to you, it doesn't necessarily make sense, because it's all about the going through the actual experience of it. And so it is super freaking interesting because it can be like tied to like the weirdest stuff. So I love that you actually bring that up, because it's something that we've been talking about quite a bit.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, it's crazy. And sometimes the people that come to me, we end up clearing a whole bunch of shit for the collective. I had someone come and her ancestry in this physical body came from like Ireland, and she was having trouble in her business. And while we're working on her, suddenly this whole pattern comes up of, oh, we're going to clear this whole like potato feminine thing. Cattail. There you go. Oh, cats. I love them so much.
I do too, dude. Yeah,
yeah. So this whole, like, there was an opportunity to help a whole bunch of people. If it's a weird thing to put your mind around when you're clearing things for other people who are not in the session, but it's like, here's an opportunity to send a clearing pattern for anyone who's got this other pattern and who's like, I need this to change. So then it's energetically, and I've got all my shivers now from my thank you, that's confirmation. Yes. So it's like, so someone's got that other pattern and they're like, I need this to change, I want this to change. So we set up this pattern and come and shift that for them the most you can without, actively shifting it, right? If that kind of makes a little bit of sense, but like that kind of thing is showing up a decent amount in my world, where like cleared one on Vietnam too in a recent client where it was like a whole bunch of shit and we're just clearing the stuff so that the shift is available for people who want it so that they can get out of the kind of trapped, stuck place that they're in.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's
tell people how they can. Yeah. Thank you. And tell people how they can do this with you.
Yes. Okay. So I do see people one-to-one, but I much prefer in a group setting. Group energy is so powerful because the group that comes together, we all have some resonance with the same patterns. They're just maybe to different degrees. And then you get the different parts of the pattern showing up and you can clear it really deeply. So I am currently, I have a brand new offering. It's called Playful Prosperity Coaching, because the energy of money is the same as the energy of play when you want more money with more ease. And it's a small group, 8 people, 12 weeks. And the whole goal of this program is to take you and get you through whatever internal shit is blocking your way. You likely don't have as much as I had. So we'll find all your internal like beliefs and your whatever, and we'll lots of energy clearing, get you aligned with receiving money with more ease, let's look at one of your money portals. This is just a pathway for money to show up to you. It could be your coaching packaging, it could be your healings, whatever you happen to have, the way you choose for money to come to you. Let's line you up with this. Make sure that you're aligned with it and you're not like got some weird mindset stuff around some old coach who told you this, whatever. That is aligned with your energy and how you do it. And then let's look at how you're going to put it out to the world. So that's the goal of this 12 weeks together, is let's get you through these things so that you're receiving more money with more ease.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, small group. We're starting on September 22nd. Calls will be on Tuesday. I have both a pay in full and a payment plan. And if you're interested, please do reach out, because I have 2 spots filled and I got 6 more available.
Super cool.
Awesome.
And we'll make, sorry, I should say, just because there's an awkward pause, I'll include here that we will include links for that to you guys if you're interested in that.
Yes. And if you're, you want to have a conversation with me, because I can look at you intuitively and the program and see if you're a fit. Because I really want people who are fit and who are ready for this. And so I'm perfectly happy to get on a tea and chat kind of short call and let's get to know each other and let's make sure we're a fit and you're a fit for the program. I can do that very unbiasedly. I had someone once I took a program from who was intuitive. This was years ago before I'd stepped into my super intuitive powers. And I'm like, is this the right thing for me? It was a huge expense thing. And she said yes, but I'm pretty sure looking back now, she wasn't in a non-biased place. She wanted my money really badly.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So I invested in a thing that wasn't right. But from that experience, I now have this where I'm like, I'm not like, I want the right people in my program. I'm not like, ooh, let me just take your money. Like, no, I want the right people in the program. So if you want to know if you're right, you want to get on a call, perfectly happy to do that.
Good.
Awesome. Heart-centered. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Anything else, my friend?
That's mostly it. I'm like doing all kinds of crazy shit in my Facebook group too. We're playing abundance games once a month usually and stuff. So I'll give you the link for that. You can put in the thing if you want to connect and do more, because I also provide a space for people to show up and put out their offerings there, because there's enough for all. There's lots of abundance in the world.
So true.
All right, our friends. Well, I believe that wraps us on today. Amanda Lee Sparks, thank you so much. It is always such a treasure to have you on our show.
Thank you. I love chatting with you guys. So fun.
And your kitties have been quite entertaining.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
I've seen there was like a black one at one point that went like shooting up the tree.
Oh, that's Molly. She's like really energetic in the mornings.
She's cute as hell.
So cute. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, our friends. Well, we are signing off for the day. If you are interested in becoming a guest on Coffee Chats, you do not have to be an entrepreneur to do this. You simply have to have in-depth information on a metaphysical topic. So we will make sure to supply all of the forms as well if you're interested in applying to come on the show. But otherwise, we hope you have a fantastic rest of the week, and we will have all of Amanda Lee's resources available for you in the description box below. But thank you so much, you guys, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks.